I've known Scott for a while actually. He's a good guy.
Okay.
He's sort of OG Toronto deep tech venture capitalist, I think. All right, we're at the top of the hour, and I'm completely unprepared because I should have asked Rob what the plan was today, but it really doesn't matter. We always wing it regardless, right? How's it going,
Yeah,
Rob?
absolutely. Great, man. Great. Absolutely great. It's been a busy week on the roof flow side, and then all the preparation for everything that's coming down the pipe for members really all over the place. Today we've got Nick's going to give us a neat demo, and then we got a little bit of open mic time. Stefan Jensen is going to be joining us next week, and he's the founder of the DevOps conferences, and he's fully adopted agentic engineering. So that should be good. This week
You join
coming,
next week.
he's joining. Yeah,
So he's
he's
joining
joining
next week.
next week. Yeah, it had to be
Okay.
for the 29th. Originally the 22nd of this week, but it'll be next week. On Tuesday, we've got the Toronto Tech Week, and Nick has done an amazing job with the lineup. Thankfully, the folks at CBC have ironed out all of their policies and reopened the availability for our space. So we'll continue to maintain the same home for all of our events. That's a great location, 35 John Street, right downtown Toronto. We got room for up to 100 people there. But the lineup is amazing. We've got Ivy Chu, who's the head of TELUS AI Research, Moisey Mujtaba, head of product AI at Atlas. And then we've got Manish Shah, he's the head of digital AI transformation at RBC. Vishal Gorpati and Hama Patil, both AI engineers from Google Cloud. And then we've got Camille Kloppenberg from CIBC, Vicky Makija from PwC Canada, and Arun Prabhakar from BCG. And not confirmed, but there's a small chance we also might be joined by the CISO Claudette McGowan of Protexa, who's also a recipient of the Order of Canada. So this coming Tuesday is just going to be a wonderful Toronto Tech Week, and the panels that Nick has assembled and invited is tremendous. So that's going to be really good. We've got the Fall Summit. There was a little bug on solo room bookings, but that's been fixed. So registrations are coming, still in the early bird stage. So if you want a great deal on that, you can get in and get to the retreat for under 2,000 bucks Canadian. So it's a great deal, and that's coming along. And then we're all prepping for Budapest, of course. There's going to be all kinds of us that are over in Budapest for the first week of June, mostly from June 2nd to June 7th. All kinds of activities and things going on through that week with the Eugenics Foundation. Our Budapest chapter's got a meetup going. We've got the speakers, workshops, Strogan's talking, you're talking. We're on various panels, members coming in from all across Europe. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then the last week, Roof Flow's just been taking off. It's hitting the top of the charts. It's the most popular meta harness on GitHub, undoubtedly. And the updates are coming in a flurry, Roof. You had a
Well,
big Roof Flow update like about a week ago, and then all these
well,
updates.
several updates. There was a push I did in the guidance system this morning, and the cluster is working 24/7, and I get in the morning and it's like, oh, I invented this new thing. Oh, okay, let's take a look at that. But yeah, so overhaul. There's a new release of the graph intelligence. It's a new a structure that allows you to do well graph intelligence. So all the sort of contrastive stuff. I didn't go with contrastive. I went with graph because I think people understand graphs a little bit better than contrast. At least that's what ChatGPT told me. So that's out the door, and it's pretty cool. Does some really interesting learning capabilities. I did an update to the Neural Trader. Neural Trader is in really good shape. We've had basically several updates over the last few weeks, and lots of good feedback from people and how they're using it. The primary mechanism for interacting with the Neural Trader is now a plugin through Roof Flow.
Mm.
So if you're looking to use it, and it works great with the slash schedule option in Claude Code. If you want to schedule sort of remote instances that run in the Anthropic cloud, all you need to do is set up an env and say run until I find me a stock that works, kind of thing. So yeah, lots and lots of updates there, and obviously Review is still just cooking. I'm gonna show you
That's
guys
flying.
some stuff there as well.
Yes, please.
Hey,
Yeah,
two questions that keep coming up. The first is Rue Vector, excuse me, is Rue Flow going to work around the new requirements of Claude and working with harnesses and pushing harnesses through the API? People want to know if they should be using it differently or they should just use Rue Flow the way they have used it. And they want to know, the more and more RueFlow grows, do they still need to be loading RueVector separately, or should they just leave RueVector alone and assume whatever needs to be in RueFlow will be?
those are great questions, and one of the updates that I did earlier this week was the move away from a kind of there was multiple ways to interact with the graph data in the system, which was a little confusing for some people. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I've done is, in terms of the memory system itself, that is using the agent DB library. So agent
Mm-hmm.
DB is essentially the best bits of RueVector into a congruent single package. And the benefit to that is it's easy to work with. You can, and it's there's the blast radius is limited if I create an error or bug or whatever. But more importantly, it's a single point for the in terms of a dep within the system, so a dependency. Now, there are other components within RueVector, the graph and learning and the language models, the turbo quant stuff, there's all of these crazy things. Now, I've wrapped most of those at this point, at least the core, the stuff that isn't too crazy, into the MPX RueVector library. That can also be, interacted with through RueFlow, specifically the Node library. But that's more focused on the self-learning capabilities and the graph intelligence system, and specifically the RueVector plugin. Um, so the
Yeah.
answer, in terms of a short answer, is I adapt it quickly. So as Claude changes or codex changes, you can use this either as an MCP, meaning anything that supports an MCP. You can use it as CLI, anything that supports a CLI, Windows, Linux, and Mac, and you can use it as a plugin. Now, the plugin is the easiest point of access to the system, and that's where all my growth is coming from. People are just basically using the plugin, and I'm getting just an astronomical amount of usage just from that. And now keep in mind what I'm doing, and I'm being totally honest about the structure because I think my honesty allows you to see how it works. I'm basically using that as a prompt injection. So the system will then go and install the bits and pieces it needs incrementally versus all at once. So I'm honest, but that is also a particularly easy way to like, in terms of a vulnerability of other systems, if you don't trust the provider. So in the same way that I'm basically giving you or giving the instructions to Claude to use RueVector and AgentDB and other things, if you didn't know who that provider was or where you were getting that, I could just as easily give you something that steals all, or tell the system to give you an application that secretly steals all your information. So be super, super careful when using plugins, and because the back doors in those are wide open right now, and
Hmm.
no one, as far as I can tell, no one's doing any kind of homework on these skills and plugins that they're doing. So
Mm.
be careful. It's, if I can do it, again, I'm doing it because I think you trust me, but there's the flip. It's the flip side. You just as easily, if you don't trust me, that's what I'm doing. So, Manjui, how's it going?
Very well, thank you. It's just a very quick logistics check actually. I noticed that our meetings are not making their way to the Agentic site and also to KMC Cultura. So are we, this is recording, I can see, but do we know where it is stored? I can do that
That's
Thank you,
from,
Matt.
Mandri. I'll touch in with Martin on it.
okay,
I'm
all right,
working on it with Martin.
all right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah, we're
yeah.
we're
So
working on the backlog. It's a massive backlog. I met with him one more time this next week, and we should be able to kind of get a good chunk of it handled.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, and check out the management team thing. I did give an update earlier today.
Oh, perfect, thank you. I can also help, by the way. I have access, so if all I need to know where it is, I can push them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Ron,
you go to video-sync.agentics.org, anyone with an agentics.org account can see the status of things.
yeah, and if you're interested in helping, and thanks as well. We have basically every day there's a call at this time, 12 Eastern US and 12 Eastern Canadian. And so on Mondays we have our management call. On Tuesdays we have our marketing call, so graphics and images and how we want to position ourselves, which inevitably leads to a website update. And then on Wednesdays, we've got more tech. So these are calls we do to talk specifically about the website and different tools and things like what Manjweep's just mentioned and sort of the technical challenges. I'm trying to do the Thursday calls wherever possible. That's just vibing. And obviously today, our Show Me What You Got day.
There is a Thursday
KP.
call on the job site, though. Jesus, what time is that? It is at noon Pacific, so 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to be on that, let me know.
Yeah, we're doing a big push next week to try to get the job board out. So guys, Chris has done an amazing job on the job board, and I think it's going to be a sort of nexus for all our activities. At the end of the day, half the people I talk to just want a better job or a reinvention of themselves. And what better way to do it than have a nice solid job board as the place to discover your next big thing? Yeah, KP, you have a comment?
Hey, Ru, first of all, thank you very much. Got my seed yesterday. Super excited. Thank you. The second thing is a quick question.
Thank you.
You're doing a training session in Budapest on June 2nd. Is there any plans to do a session either in Canada or in the US anytime soon?
There's a lot of interest in that. So we got to figure that, that's probably a question for Chris. He's our CEO of Cognitum. He kind of keeps me organized. Yeah, we should totally do that. I'm just inundated. So the two things people want are obviously Rue View, which is crazy hot, and Rue Flow. Yeah. But
happy to help. Happy to help if
where are you based?
California, so Bay Area. So I can, we can. I think there'd be a huge amount of interest if you organize it somewhere here. But
yeah, there was some talk of the Adobe facilities, and the NVIDIA guys have offered their space. So we just got to figure out where we want to do it. Getting us a place to do it isn't the problem. It's just me going and doing
getting the date. Yeah, it's your time, which is
somewhere July, August, maybe.
There's a conference happening in a couple of weeks. Aaron Rose Aaron Rowe is doing a confidential computing conference in San Francisco. He wants me to give a keynote. I've been procrastinating. Sorry, Aaron. Maybe I'll see if I can get myself to California. I don't know. That's I gotta go to Budapest in a week and a half. So that might be too much. I don't know. Right. I'm going to show you some stuff.
Okay.
First of all, I got a new prototype. For V2 of my seed, and this is actually made of wood.
Really?
And I've looked everywhere, and I can't find any computers or tech gadgets made with real wood. And you can even smell the sort of smoke from the laser that cut the wood. So it's got this sort of smoky, sort of hickory smell to it, which I kind of love. The idea is that we're going to have these, and the reason it's wood is because I need to maximize the amount of RF that gets sent, right? So if this is a 3D printed case right now, but it'll probably be metal. But the by having wood here is it penetrates the wood really easily, so the RF signal will go through it. But the other part is, which is interesting, because the shape will be metal, but the shape acts as a kind of like parabolic. So it sends the RF signals in that direct structure. So when you have it in different structures, it goes in different directions. And Wi-Fi has a tendency to kind of have this mushroom sort of shape. It goes out, up, and over like a mushroom cloud almost. What this does is forces the RF to go in a more sort of rectangular direct sort of shape so I can get much higher resolution on essentially lower resolution kit, which is important. So the idea is to have the CSI component directly in the box, one power unit you could plug in with a battery kind of thing, and you just set them up. And I'm going to show you quickly what that looks like as well. So this is the first I've shown it. It's probably buggy, but whatever. So this is an open source. It's a work in progress. Oh, I gotta shut off my camera to see if I can get my camera working. All right. So what this is doing is you can see the different the different components. And now I'm going to enable my tracking. So this is me. Give it a sec to initialize. I'm going to move around here a little bit. All right. So okay. So now it's kind of learned. So now I'm putting one arm up, and all right, put my other arm up this way. I'm too close to my camera, but what's happening is a few things. The system is learning the structure of the room in real time, right? So as I interact, we can see that the nodes in terms of the information flowing, the RF signal flowing in the room is changing and adapting. Now I can turn off some of these components and show you each one. But what it's essentially learning is the structure of you and your environment around it. So I'm stripping out all the extraneous things in the room I don't need. And like in this room, I've got a lot of crazy tech gadgets and wires and just an immense amount of probably RF noise happening in this room because I've got a swarm of different clusters and things running. So it's about a noisy a room as you're going to get in terms of RF interference. But the fact I can essentially move one arm in a room full of noise, this is for me, this is like magic, right? It's quite incredible. So yeah, the next generation will mean that you don't have to use an ESP32 alongside of it. Right now, if you want to do this, you can just buy an ESP32 C6. C6, by the way, is the best option for you right now. It has the highest what do they call it, megahertz for the RF. So it's I think 160 megahertz, which is the refresh rate of the CSI itself. Anyway, that's what you want, and it's working pretty good actually at this point.
And is that one of them, two of them, three of them? How many does it take to get the appropriate triangulation you need to be able to do this 3D representation and full kind of motion action capture?
Now I don't want to be too obtuse, but the best triangles have three sides. No, I'm just kidding. That was a really bad triangle joke.
Hi-yo.
Okay. I try. Yeah. So you basically need three. So you can get away with one, depending on what you want to do. So let's. Oh, I gotta turn my camera back on. No, I gotta turn this one off. All right. So depending on what you want to do, there's different structures you can use. So the simplest structures that you can get are not structures; they're patterns. Your heartbeat is the simplest. A heartbeat, one ESP32, you're good. You're getting a heartbeat. Now, if you're training your system at night and you have a partner in the bed alongside you, then you're likely going to need to have more than one to differentiate between you and your partner. Or your dog or whatever it happens to be in the proximity. So what that allows you to do is create a kind of RF signature. And when I describe the RF signature, it feels almost like it's a biosignature. I can basically, in the same way you get like a DNA or a fingerprint, I can basically get a sort of RF-based fingerprint of the individual based on the various signals coming through you in this device. That requires multiple points of view to make that distinction. So if you're by yourself, one's fine. If you want something like a proximity alarm, where it basically says, someone's coming and going, and that's not they're outside of the sort of normal biosignatures in that space, one is probably all right. To get that, though, you're going to need to train it to understand each of those biosignatures. So in this case, you might add an individual that just stands in front of the sensor for 30 seconds, and that's going to do a scan and say, okay, that's person one. and then you do that for every other person in your house. And then in that scenario, you could have a security system that basically unlocks when it recognizes your electromagnetic signature, which is kind of crazy in itself. Taking it a step further, let's say, okay, now I've got everybody in my house, and I want to understand, other things. The simplest stuff to train, I find, is sleep. So I can, and my wife isn't on this call. I'm sure weirds are out, but basically my office is not too far from my bedroom. I work from home, and so what I have a tendency to train this, overnight while we sleep. And that works great because you're not moving. The system can kind of quickly and easily detect, those sort of things, and it can detect you like patterns when you're sleeping, or REM cycles, for example. The other thing you can do if you want to start biohacking, you can include subsonic sounds. So if you want to adjust your sleeping habits, silent lucidity, adjust your dreaming components, you can have the system monitor that and then subtly change and adapt your particular structure, or your dreaming structure, or your lack of dreaming structure if you're having trouble get to sleep, based on the particular sound ranges in the room. In that scenario, all you need is a decent speaker that this thing can communicate with and adjust. And then it learns the back and forth between you and the subsonic or ultrasonic frequencies that your body is best tuned to. So it doesn't know exactly what the best frequency for you is. It learns over a period of time, kind of doing a little bit of trial and error. I know it's not for everyone, I admit, but after a while, I'm sleeping great. I wake up refreshed. I have great dreams. I remember them. It's with a little help from my seed and basically a speaker that I can't hear. Now, is that placebo? Is it because I believe that it works, or does it work? That's where scientific rigor is required. But I don't know. It works for me. That's good enough for me.
Two quick questions on that. Are you looking at your sleep score in Apple Health, and do you see that number actually moving up, aligned with the fact that you're saying you're sleeping better?
Yes. So according to Apple, which my watch or whatever, according to Apple, my heart rate is lower, my breaths and all the stats are lower. Now, I get on my exercise bike every morning, and that obviously helps a lot. But those other tangents, what I'll call them, like psychological almost, the things that stress you out, and the system has the ability to subtly, not massively, but subtly make changes in your environmental area that appears to sort of optimize your sort of well-being. I don't know. Again, I have no idea if that is placebo or not, and all I can tell you is it seems to be working. But again, you get Antoinette on here; she'll tell you that we need to do clinical trials and this and that, and she's right. But
I hear
anecdotally.
By the way, I have this bed that I mentioned yesterday, and it does adjust the temperature depending on the phase of your sleep. So it's actually a similar pattern of intervention, of course, based on a lot of information, right? But again, as I mentioned yesterday, the best baseline is you. So if you have enough data, who cares about the rest of the world? You know what works best for you when you can measure things properly, right?
Yeah, I love that. And is there an API? We should hack Antoinetta's bed.
It's called Sleep 8. I don't know whether they have an API, but it's pretty popular actually. So you may take a look.
Yeah, sorry, throw it in the chat. I'll take a look. That would be perfect. Anything that has an API is perfect for this, right? Because what I can do is I can sense the unseen, and I can then, if I can interact with other things that have APIs are preferable, then we can make subtle adjustments. I can make the room slightly colder or warmer. I can adjust the bed to be softer, harder, whatever.
One thing that does have an API, Ruth, is BedJet, right? So it is a device that basically blows hot, cold air into the bed, and you can use it to adjust your sleep phases and what have you. That definitely has an API because I have one.
It's actually water,
Nice.
but yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it does.
Yours is water-based? Yeah, but this one's air-based.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, if you have enough signal to know that it impacts, it's an intervention, right? So there has to be a causal effect of some sort, and we need to have enough data. But also, personalized data is the best, right? Because not everybody is the same. So, amazing stuff.
Yeah, it is causal. Remember, the structure is a graph. It's root vector. It's got the combination of causal effect, and it learns over time. So it's not gonna like you're gonna set it up day one and somehow magically day two you're a better person. It's not really like that. It's more like it learns in proximity to you, and over time it learns your optimal signals, and that's the coherence. Right. So then it's like, okay, here's what your normal looks like currently. And then it understands what abnormal is. And the abnormal could be a skipped heartbeat, or you struggling to breathe at 1 o'clock in the morning because you have sleep apnea. Right. And then what it learns is, okay, you have there's a tendency at 1 a.m. for sleep apnea, and maybe we have some kind of oxygen device nearby that isn't directly connected to you, because that's a pain. Who wants to have the face mask on? Maybe it just pumps a little more oxygen in the room when it detects that you need a bit more oxygen.
Totally.
Those sorts of things.
Totally.
Right. And the benefit to that is it's passive and it's proactive. It means that it's looking out for me. Because a lot of these smart health devices aren't actually smart. They're just web connected, and somehow or other we assume that because my thermometer or my scale is connected to the internet, it's inherently smarter. No, it's inherently less secure. And you think that some random provider is using the cutting edge contrastive systems? I doubt it. They're using a database and some minor whatever algorithm. And the worst case is all that data is probably being sold to someone else or leaking on when they're hacked. So anyway, I digress. That's where I'm at. I don't know. I think the wood's cool. I don't know. What do you guys think about wood? Is that, have you heard of any wooden devices?
Yeah,
Smoky.
very cool.
What kind of wood?
I'm sorry?
What
One
kind of wood is
C6
it?
in it or a 3? I'm sorry, Mary. Go ahead.
What kind of wood is it?
Is
it oak?
That's a good question. I gotta ask we got an industrial designer. He's a great guy. I found him on Etsy, by the way, and so he's in, I think he's in San Jose. I'll have to ask him. Whatever the laser was able to cut through.
Maybe
But
you
he's
should
done
call
it.
it smoky.
It is smoky. That's what I kind of like about it. It smells a
Exactly.
little bit
I think you
like
should
There
call it
has to
smoky.
be a type of wood that optimizes for RF frequencies.
that's 100% what I'm trying to do. An RF optimized wood.
It's actually black walnut. Just chiming in here.
Black walnut.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Smells it smells amazing. And the
Very
other cool thing
cool.
about it, I only got the prototype yesterday, but when it's on, I unplugged it because I wanted to show you guys. But when it's on, it obviously warms up, and this is the air intake. So it's actually the air outtake. So it radiates this kind of smoky, woody sort of smell, which is
How long does it last?
It still smells, but it's a day old. I
No-
doubt it would
no-
last that long.
No need for a scented candle in your office when you're running that. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. That's a nice secondary option, and I didn't realize was going to be a thing. All right. Any comments? Actually, before I do, I'm looking for some help. The 3D model I was just showing you, the actual models from the whatever that 3D model library that Adobe has. I'm not allowed to distribute it. It's for personal use kind of model. I need someone somewhere who knows how to make 3D models, specifically skins for this. I'll give you full cred on the site, link to your whatever. Right now we're doing I don't know, a couple 100,000 downloads a day of review. So tons and tons of viewership. So if you know of anyone that's good with 3D models and was willing to help me out, I'm looking for some help with a 3D skin. The code is currently in the examples folder in Brewview/3JS. If you want to, I'll pop that in the text area here for you guys. Looking for a friend. All right.
That's right. Maybe Brett needs somebody. If we don't have somebody actually on the line on it.
Yeah.
We've got a Roof too. Just a quick addition. We also have Craftsman. He's got a demo for today. And then Matt has some updates about the hackathon that's coming.
Okay. Well, Craftsman, let's see what you got. I always love to see his interesting work. Free J. Oh, do we lose him? Yeah, look. Look, rigged male human. We should do. I'm looking at the link that Guy sent me just now. Yeah, it's hard to find good models. That's for sure. All right. So I can continue if you want, Rob. If Craftsman is having some challenges, or you guys have anything you want to cover. There's a lot of news of the day this week. Happy to take the conversation.
There
we go, Craftsman. Rishabh, good to see you.
Craftsman.
I'm sorry. My talk is just more like what we had an event over the weekend. We had the Agentix Foundation official second meetup at GRU. Thank you, Nikhil, for hosting us. And we had a full house. We had two amazing presentations. One presentation from Nikhil on talking about the universal harness, where the idea is you can adopt any model into your system and into your agentic pipeline coding tool is something he worked on and he presented to the community. Let me share my screen. Probably I'll just run you down through some photos we did, some activities.
Are you able to share? I think I am the host. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I, as I was saying before we started, I'm always jealous when I see your posts. The meetups you guys have in India are the best.
Oh, I mean, the topics which came up was very interesting, right? And like we discussed about PII, we discussed about database syncing, we discussed about open source models, we discussed about open source inferencing, we discussed about how to do context engineering very specific to open source models. And I think also we were discussing like how to keep costs low when you're doing enterprise, right? Because at enterprise, we cannot have subscriptions. Like a lot of problems the community came through, asked, discussed, and this one. I still can't share my screen, but
is that I'm not getting a no, I'm not getting a request. Martin, are you getting the request for the screen sharing?
I didn't see one, no.
Let's see here. Technical difficulties. I'm going to make you co-host. That should help you. There you go.
Yep, it's working wonderfully. Yeah. So we had the amazing crew over here. This was the entire group meetup photo. This is the entire attendees. This is Nikhil presenting about the.
Nice.
And we had a post-lunch event. So we all went to a local restaurant. We had lunch and we were also discussing a lot of AI solutions and things. This is the open forum where we were discussing about the open problems which the community was presenting. And we had one of the presenters called Sai Krishnan, who was discussing about how to have agentics with an IAM role and how to give agentics roles so they don't screw up everything in your autonomous systems, because as we go into a more autonomous world, right, you don't want your agent to go on like, hey, I feel like deleting the database, so let's go and delete a database. And he had a very nice presentation about how to do IAM on agents and setting up rules and things, which was lovely. And this was Nikhil presenting on this one. So yeah, I just thought to do a quick rundown of what we did and this one. I think So we are planning for our next meetup soon, where we are planning for a much more technical and non-technical event. We have already started preparing for the base topics and the code templates, so the community can just come, start, plug and play the code, and they feel to get more hands-on. So we're looking for bigger venue spaces. But yeah, I think overall the second meetup was a really good event.
And I looked outside. Are you doing this at Nichols' place or somewhere else?
Oh, this time it's on Nichols' Places also. Nichols' Place. It's called GRU Works.
Yeah. For those who don't know Nickel, it's a house in Bengaluru. Is that what it is? Yeah.
It's just more like a community space.
Community space. Yeah, and it's great. He's doing some amazing stuff. And he's got all kinds of interesting thoughts. We need to get him on the show sometime. Share his
that would be great.
Any new interesting insights from his world.
Oh, I mean, he has some amazing stuff. He got all his LLMs logged with Pipecat, so now they're having voice and audio fill time. So it has just been listening and creating insane amount of context conversations and emotional intelligence. That's been wonderful. So I think he's just gone based on the last previous topic where he was explaining how an LLM could have hyper-threading and you have running multiple LLMs, right? Now he has given all the hyper-threadings and voice, which is even more insane.
Yeah. I've been meaning to follow up with him. He wants to do that agentic yoga retreat. We have to do that, and it turns out there's a lot of people who are actually into the idea of doing an agentic yoga retreat where we take all the stuff I was telling you guys about earlier about how we can kind of control and adapt. I can comfortably. I'm going to say this plainly because there's no other way to say it, but I can pretty much put people into a hypnotic stance, trance-like state. The guys on GitHub made me take it down. They thought it was inappropriate. I'm like, okay, I'll take that in the lie detection system down. But there's definitely some interesting things you can do. I think we need a psychologist with us to control our transcendental state, but it would be amazing to say the least.
You put a whole bunch of seeds around the room while you're doing this, right?
Yeah, exactly. And a speaker and some oxygen, whatever else Craftsman and Nickel want to.
We're all laying down on those sleep mattresses, and people start snoring.
Colorado,
exactly.
like, hey.
We all snore in unison.
Yeah. And I think Chris just offers his supply of mushrooms.
You got a prime market there in Colorado. Start with them, no doubt, right? All those sensors.
In California.
Well, apparently one dose of psilocybin is enough to stop depression for like a significant period of time, I was reading. So one can only imagine, and use at your own risk, obviously. One can only imagine what a little bit of psilocybin might do with a little bit of AI. Anyway, Dragon, how's it going?
Thousands of years of history can't be wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite good. It was a busy week. I had 2 meetups where, while we are sharing how our week went. On Wednesday, I was in Belgrade, invited by Contest community there to share the story about agentic quality engineering. So it was interesting to see and meet new people there. And what was extra interesting is I had one colleague come from London to join that meetup. But as I had another meetup yesterday in Novi Sad locals, he joined that one also. So he was at 2 meetups, and he was my guest yesterday, also part of the day. I was his host. That was like let's say, a surprise for me that somebody would take that trip from London just to join the meetups and to have a talk with me. But It was nice to see. What was also interesting yesterday, if I can share the screen, I
Sure.
would like
I
to.
I gotta allow this. Okay.
Yeah.
You're good.
I don't know who is user. I see maybe Martin, but I'm sharing also in chat here. During the session yesterday, I had problems with reinstalling everything, with recreating the fhPodDocker environment and everything. So it took some while until the system started working community app that we are creating during our meetups. But then I decided to use the little trick that I learned from Rove, use the loop, but in combination with my QE browser skill that uses Vibium for UI, running the UI. And while I was talking with colleagues in 15 or let's say half an hour, and I even closed the laptop, went back home, when I opened the laptop, it fixed around 20 bugs that it found, and it managed to finish like a 26th major user journeys in the application. So let's see how it fixed next time in the next meetup, but it was interesting to see how the system will self-correct itself when it has access to the UI and try to run user journeys using Agentic QA Fleet in this case.
That's the loop's cool, right?
Oh, I can share now. Yeah, let me share for those that didn't open. But the goal was like bring the app online inside the dev container and run headless browser test loop to find what's not working in the major user journeys and fix it. And it used it and verified 24 user journeys in the application. This is community app we are building. So, and fix bugs as it was finding, because it encountered a number of bugs. So almost 20 files were touched. There are still known gaps. That's something to finish in the next round. But it was like an interesting experiment. So yeah, like 20 files to fix bugs without human intervention.
Dragon, did you have the user journeys defined before you run those tests? Or
yeah, I had BDD scenarios before and some exploratory test and chatters prepared from the running QA fleet on the project in the previous sessions.
Okay.
There's a couple tricks to the loop too. Obviously bounded. You want to make sure that it's clearly describing what it needs to do. You don't want unbounded unless you research maybe. And then I set timeframes. So certain things I'll say continue until complete, and they could run for a week. But generally speaking, before I go to bed at night, I set research loops, and those research loops are basically to take what I've already built, check for bugs, make it better, or push beyond what it's capable of doing. And then I say basically be done by 8 a.m. And 8 a.m. is when I come back to my office in the morning with my coffee and whatever, and I'm done with my bike ride, and I've got my whole list of different things that it's done overnight. It's found, fixed, and deployed, and I'm confident now enough to actually let it do autonomous deployments. So when you see those deployments at 4 o'clock in the morning on Root Flow or whatever, that ain't me clicking it. That's it. That's the system doing the sort of looped updates and deployments. Fixes up, whatever. It's all the loop. So Dragon, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and if somebody in Madrid next week, feel free to ping me. I'm doing there my talk during the Expo QA conference, like a warm up before the Budapest and Craft conference, building bridges between classical and agentic quality engineering. So whoever is nearby in Madrid, please ping me to have some drink and food.
And how's our Hungary Budapest coming together? That's shipping up pretty good, right? 2 weeks from now.
I just spoke with Tomasz, the main organizer.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, I know on the streets, so very noisy. It's 150 people already sign up. Enormous interest. So
nice.
It's 2 weeks.
That's our June 2nd evening Budapest meetup.
Okay,
right, it's a beautiful venue.
Yes.
And where's the venue? It's where we holding this thing?
So it's walkable.
What was
Sorry,
that, Benson?
It's walkable, so it's in central.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, anyone that wants to go, it's no affiliation with the conference at all. So, it's like every other Agentics meetup we do. It's free, and you can come and hang out, and we'll do some hacking together. Peter, I know you're going to be in town for that too, right?
Yep. Coming over special and bringing the family.
Yeah, I'm bringing my son too, so it'll be a fun time. I'm really excited to see everyone in person.
Yeah, we are flying in with one week as well. We're from London.
Oh, nice. Week.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
so
we'll be there. Yeah. I'll be there on 1st to 3rd.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
Second and 3rd. So I'll see you.
And we need to find some friends for Finn. So while we're doing our geeking out, are you bringing your daughter's dragon, or what are they able to make it?
Not this time. Yeah, no.
This time.
The younger one is still in like finishing the 3rd class of the high school, and the older one is preparing for the university exam to be applied for. So yeah, both are taken in the beginning of June. So yeah, not this time. Maybe next time.
Next time. Yeah. So we also need to track down an open mic guitar night somewhere at some place we can sneak them into. That'll make for a memorable moment.
Definitely.
And up on stage. And we've got an update from Matt, but Dragan, are you also having a meetup on the 5th?
No, I'm doing the talk on the 5th.
You're doing the talk,
the hands-on workshop, more like a 90-minute hands-on presentation. Again, we will use Agentic QA Fleet as a base, maybe build or do the adaptation to certain contexts. So let's see, whoever joins the session will be able to modify existing agents, then use them for testing. I already have some examples ready to test on, and then we will see examples how to use everything in your CI/CD or any pipeline where how to put the quality gates where needed. So what you can fit in 90 minutes, a little bit of everything.
That's nice. Yeah, there'll be it's pretty much sold out. There's over 2,000 folks at the conference itself. And then but somebody had asked me if I was going to make it down to Serbia after the conference for a meetup. So I assumed that was you.
No, not that one, but yeah, let's see. Yeah.
Good, very good. Okay, so so that's we are flying out on the 31st, so it's coming up soon now, 10 days away. Matt, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Right on. So just quick question. Who remembers when the phrase $20 on pump one actually meant something? Well, it may not mean anything right now, but this hackathon, the periodontal hackathon, does mean something, right? And so that's I put the link in the chat. It's live. Special thanks to Builderbase, who is our partner platform for hosting and hosting the platform, hosting the hackathon. Builderbase has a platform that allows for all the normal activities during a hackathon to happen. They host it all on one platform, and Jens, Gina, and Jacob are all a great team. We're design partners, so there's still some rough edges, and it's not as slick and jazzy as we may want, but we're working with them, and the hackathon is live. It is focused on solving the dental problem that Bernard has. Take a look at the video. He'll walk you through the problem. There is a $5,000 bounty. Again, any man, woman, or child who can solve this problem. Bernard, Dragon, and thank you, Nick, are judges on the hackathon. And lastly, I'll say we decided to partner with Builderbase versus build our own, because it was a buy versus build question, but it seemed to make more sense in the time frame we have and the support that the Builderbase team has given us. And then lastly, I'm working on trying to get some, it's bring your own stack. So you bring your own tools, you develop and design where you're comfortable. I'm working on getting some speech to text credits with 11 labs of DeepGram, but that's still to be determined. And you have 3 weeks to solve the problem. Any questions, just ping me. And there's a support element on the platform, but we're going to do a check-in in a week or two to see how everybody's doing. But it's live. You can register now and ready, set, go.
Nice. Good job, Matt.
Yeah.
And
thanks.
And the date specifically, what is this open or?
It's open now. Yeah,
okay.
It's open now. You can register now. As mentioned before, we're design partners, so there may be some kinks here and there. So just bear with us. I think there's you sign up and then we have to approve you. So there's an onboarding process, but technically that platform gives you the details around how to solve the problem and what you're going to be judged on. But you can do everything outside of the platform, aside from the last step, which is how we want you to submit your solutions to a repo, which will be on platform. Hopefully all that makes sense.
Amazing. What are the dates again? The date range?
The date range, July 11th is when we're going to close out. It's live now. We did the soft launch on Wednesday. And sorry, Ruth, I think you did ask that. So we did the soft launch on Wednesday. It was live since Wednesday, but now we're communicating through the community and outwardly around, ready, set, go. Green light, you can go build. Ending.
Is it June 11th or July 11th?
June 11th, 3 weeks from today.
Okay, got ya. Okay. It sounds exciting. I love this. This is nice work on this, Matt. This is looking really good.
Thank you. No, thank you. Anything that helps the community.
Hopefully that's it's going to deliver him some really neat innovations for what he's doing in market.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the voice stuff is particularly useful. Yeah. Voice pipeline that can basically he wants, if I remember last week, he wants it faster and clearer for sort of transcription of multiple people in a room when they speak numbers. Triplets.
Absolutely. Imagine you're in a dental office and there's a patient A next door and there may be some chatter in the background, but the intentionality is that the doctor, whomever, may be talking at a cadence that is faster or slower, but he's basically saying tooth number 1, and there's a whole vernacular. Intermastigial, tooth number 1, and there's a gradient and level in regards to the depth in the gums. So there's examples on Builderbase on what that vernacular looks like. But basically what he's saying is a rating and a type and calling out the tooth. So what needs to happen is, as the dental practitioner says the tooth number, there's also depth in the gum, and it needs to show on screen as he's vocally saying and transcribing basically what's happening.
So I'm by the way, I'm not entering the contest, but if I were, there's a few things that I would look at just for sake of throwing it out there. In these contrastive AI systems, you don't need these language models to be smart at everything, or in this case, the sort of transcription model. You need it to be smart, just the thing in which it needs to be smart for. And what Matt just mentioned is there's a vernacular that's very specific, and it's not that large. So by training trajectories, these really fast lookups that happen before something gets transcribed or understood, you can bypass the need to use a traditional monolithic whisper style language model. You just need to be able to translate what's being said with various accuracy, and what you're really doing is trying to filter for, linguistic differences, accents, for example, the way that the way I talk versus someone in potentially different languages altogether, and then train those trajectories so it recognizes those sort of nuances very quickly. Now, those trajectories can happen in microseconds, which are fast enough that it doesn't induce any latency in the stream. So it's happening. Think back to the idea of bullet time. It happens faster than you can sort of realize, right? So once you're moving in microseconds, it's basically we're sort of stationary objects to the AI. The benefit to that is it can make a whole bunch of really quick decisions within that really bounded time frame, specifically relating to that linguistic structure that is contained most likely in a graph and vector style storage environment, root vectors or similar, and then being able to be called on in essentially faster than real time. All those parts exist 100%. You just need to put them together. Is that, Matt, you agree? Is that kind of
100%? And just lastly, as accurate as possible. Just imagine if it's a 5-year-old is jiggling in the chair and the dental practitioner is going over it. He can't go through it again and again, and it just needs to be an accurate transcription. So, yeah.
You can take it further. I'm thinking, hey, we should get a 60 gigahertz millimeter radar pointed at your mouth, and I can just do a scan of your mouth from half a foot away.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want my mouth open for 20 minutes while the dentist pokes around there. I just want to know that there's a problem, and then my little sensor tells me that I gotta go see the dentist, and here's where it is.
So there's an innovation component. So by all means, if you can innovate outside of the idea, and Roof just drop gems on an approach.
Yeah.
So
think of the sales opportunity. You walk past the dental office, and it scans you as you walk past.
Yes.
Upsells you.
Gross. Two things. Crazy as this may sound, your RF signature is currently, there's no laws that even talk about RF signatures. The electromagnetic signature, your soul in digital form, isn't even a thing. So it's the Wild West. Now, obviously, ethically speaking,
Don't do it in Europe.
Yeah, don't do it in Europe. You can do whatever you want in the US, though. All laws are off the table for AI. You can do whatever crazy. Just go to the US to do it.
Okay, and before we wrap up, I want to make sure we got enough time for Mr. Nick. Last but not least, how are you, Nick?
I'm good. I'm just going to show some COGS UIs that I've been working on. They're pretty cool. So this one's
you're a
like
machine.
Yeah, like Ruve's got I'm like, oh, I've got 80 UIs to build, and Ruve's like, oh, actually it's like 109, you know? But these cogs have been really fun to go through, just because it's been teaching me a lot about the use cases that cognitive can be applied to. So this one is the forklift one. Now if you're on the call yesterday for the Vibecast, you would have seen this one, but I really like it because it's you got the little ground floor, you got these guys are driving around, picking stuff up, dropping it off. There's warnings and, some breaches. Probably this is a little unrealistic. There's probably not that many people running into each other at the moment in these forklifts, but just to demonstrate the process. But you can see the forklifts here and the zones and some events that are going on here. And the alerts, which again, probably not this much danger going on in the warehouse, but you get the idea. And then I wanted to show this one because we were talking about this breathing sync earlier in the call. So this is sort of my my version of that. So you got the family here and what's going on with the breathing. And again, this is you know, simulation purposes only sort of thing. We're obviously not going to have people breathing in sync within 30 seconds. So, okay, this customer flow one, I like this one. It's, the foot traffic of a store, what's coming in, what's happening, what are the patterns associated with it. Some of the events, how many people are coming in the store and leaving and so on. And then we went to emotion detection. So this one I really thought was cool. You can see sort of like
I'm excited.
stress, calm, and what's going on with your emotional state. And I think it borrows a little bit of the breathing pattern stuff. But it's pretty cool. Like this one I had fun doing.
Ambient marriage counselor. Basically.
Yeah, it could help a little bit with that. Yeah, I got a friend that's working on a marriage sort of app.
How do you translate like the breathing pattern and the rest into emotional state? What's the magic sauce here?
That sounds like a Reuven question to me.
So, first and foremost, there's all these things have research behind them, from various sources and whatnot. So these are open source. If you want to try them today, the UI isn't. I know we haven't published it yet, but you can actually go to Review and try any of the cogs, 108 of them. In terms of the emotional state, we're looking at body movement. So things that might indicate sort of, you're angry. So when I cross my arms, it's a defensive posture, right? So, that has an indication. And then if I'm breathing in a certain pattern, you have a tendency to breathe differently when you're agitated. You also have the context of your what you're saying and the rhythm and the pattern of your sort of vocal activities. Now, that can be broken down into a couple parts. I can detect vocal activity from your voice box without having a microphone. Now, I'm not going to get. I'm going to get general, structure. Not. I could probably get the actual structure, depending on the vibration and whatnot. But all these signals feed into a causal loop. A causal loop looks at your sort of steady state. This is your state when you're doing things that are obviously you're not agitated by. Maybe you're watching TV, maybe you're sleeping, and then over time the system learns the sort of differences in your unique sort of composition, and then starts describing those in the form of, well, in this case, arousal. I'm excited by this whole thing Nick's doing, so I guess that's a. But anyway, awesome. It's taking in those those vectors. So it's the coherence, it's the zero, it's the null, it's the void, and then saying, why is it changed? Why are you upset? Well, every time I get on a call with a certain client, it stresses me out. And that gets relayed, and then it'll take steps to do things to lower the temperature, literally by lowering the temperature. And the last part, what was I going to say? Yeah, there's a whole variety of just patterns that exist that Nick is visualizing here.
Yeah,
I just wonder whether you can invite sort of a feedback loop. So say it says, hey, I detect you're like, I don't know, angry or you're excited. Maybe I can say yes, no, like thumbs up, down, so that I can train it better, right? Because it can anticipate, it can guess, but then at the end of the day, I'm the judge of my state, right? Or so in some cases, actually, I don't even know, probably, it's sort of undercurrent, but in some cases, I know very well, so I can actually guide it, right, along the way.
Yeah, the idea, just to be clear, is these are like jump off points for you and Stu and others, and Manjweep are building these things that are like, what the heck am I going to build, and how do I build it, right?
Yep.
And so it's a running start for you, and
Yes.
my desire is that whether it's Stu building an amazing thing, you building, some medical breakthrough that you invent with this. I just want to give you the sort of initial template to know
that's
how to
fantastic.
get it going.
Thank you. That's amazing. Thanks.
I was going to show one last one here, which I thought was really cool. It was like the swarm mesh manager. So we've got like all the hives and the hive minds and like all the bees in the swarm just like flying around and stuff. I thought this one came out pretty cool. it's got the different roles within, you know. So again, our friend Reuven's gonna actually make this stuff work for real.
Did you see the bee? Did you see my bee system?
Not yet.
If you stick it next to a beehive or in proximity to a beehive, it'll actually model the entire hive structure in real
What?
time. Yeah.
Yo, that is insane.
Yeah, bees work well. There's lots of movement. They're buzzing. Bees communicate through this really weird flapping mechanism. Who knew? Apparently. So when a bee comes back to its hive, they're extremely intelligent creatures, I might add. They basically do this weird sort of flapping thing, and that creates this sort of subsonic frequency that allows them to communicate with each other. The system can detect that subsonic vibration and attempt to decipher its, I don't want to call it language. It's not language. It's more like a signaling system, but it is their form of communication, which is just crazy. Just crazy. Thanks, Nick. That stuff looks amazing.
Ruve, is the seed bidirectional? Can you? It's not only senses. Can you push out a signal like binaural
Yes.
beats
Yes, you can. So yes. So you're talking about RF signals in particular. So the system allows. Sorry, you want to finish?
Maybe RF, but also I'm thinking along the lines of there are some certain megahertz waves that are, I don't remember there's the zones, but it gives you a meditative state when you play it. Like there's some YouTube videos and there's a certain wave, megahertz waves, and it gives you a meditative state.
That's what I was talking about. The sleep stuff I was telling you about earlier, that's what it's doing. So remember, there's subsonic frequencies. So subsonic frequencies are essentially vibrations, right? So we don't really hear subsonic frequencies. And when we do hear subsonic frequencies, we have a tendency to our brain translates that into a supernatural sort of sense. So when you sense like a ghost, for example, some people are more susceptible to it than others. What you're really picking up on are mostly subsonic frequencies. Those are pipes in old buildings that vibrate in a certain way, certain quirks of the landscape that give off sort of noises that you can't quite see or hear, but your brain can interpret. And then we have a tendency to say, oh, that's a ghost or whatever. Now, those frequencies can be picked up on and used to massage those parts of your brain that are able to sort of understand and pick up on those signals. What the system can do is correlate the exact optimal vibration, if you will, and how that correlates to your particular makeup, because we're all slightly different in various ways. So this idea of a one size fits all sort of hertz range that's going to induce everyone into feeling better is sort of kind of true, but it doesn't go to the specifics of your particular vibration. We all have our own metabolism and structure and sort of electromagnetic sort of sphere around us, a soul of sorts, and it's unique and we can tailor the signals directly to those unique vibrations. Lastly, it turns out people like my mother and others who were really into crystals, they've known this for years, and it turns out the crystals themselves all have unique vibrations, and the system can kind of invoke a kind of resonance on these crystals. I know I'm going to sound like a hippy dippy whack-a-nut, but the idea of these crystals in combination with ultrasonic signals, and if you go to any sort of Eastern sort of ceremony, for Buddhism and whatnot, they've all figured that out already. That's why they have those, the combination of the thing they put around that makes that
Singing
sort of
bowl.
sound.
Singing bowl.
Yeah. I'm just figuring it out through highly technical means. But it's been around for centuries, millennium. Stuart, I'm rambling on a Friday.
No, this is great.
Before you dive in, just so you know, once you're done, Mandeep has another example of some of the seed work that he's been doing. And Chris wanted us to mention that in Budapest, the evening of the 2nd, when we have the meetup, Cognitum One is going to sponsor a dinner and a gathering after that meetup. So I know we have a lot of the folks who are from the Budapest chapter here today. So I just wanted to mention that there'll be a nice gathering after that event. Sorry, Stuart, please.
No, that's all right. Ru, I was just going to ask, literally going to be in Maine with some beehives that my wife sponsors in a couple of weeks. I'd love to bring the seed and put it out there. I don't know which software you're talking about. I know it's probably one of the cogs somewhere. How realistic is it, and what kind of tool do we need to be able to leave the seed outside in an exposed area over a week, still have it be powered and not have it rain out and soak? How do we solve the problem of using this the way you're talking about?
You need some weatherized ones. I'm gonna go over my little work area here for a sec. So you probably need a few of these. So this is the Heltec. You probably want to get the C6 ESP-C6, which I think you already have, right? And
no,
so
I have the fives, but I'll get one.
The the ESP-C6. It's the C6 model, not the S3. They're much more sensitive by several orders, and what that'll allow you to do, and remember, you want to have several of them depending on if you're just doing the beehive itself, I would set up a triangulation, probably maybe 3, and then orientate you. I did an update last night to if you go to my review, you'll see that there's a research folder that I just published last night, and one of the biggest things I discovered, and this is going to sound obvious, I can almost hear Guy telling me this, but the arrangement of the antenna is extremely important, and I saw a 95% increase in performance by basically just sort of twisting and turning them around into the optimal structure. So location and positioning is particularly important. I'm gonna probably build a some form of like training and like sort of setup routine that allows you to kind of figure out exactly where and how you want to position for different things, and then have the AI kind of tell you to move it slightly this way or that way. But you're gonna have to do a little bit of that. But yeah, so the last part you need, you can order these little batteries. So this is a 3000 mAh battery, and it connects right here. So let me see it. So it connects. Yep. This is an ESP S3, I think. This is the radar. So this is a 60 gigahertz radar. This is the antenna. The antenna goes in there, and the rest you just kind of stuff inside, and it's all self-contained. And this will run. If you run it sparsely, you could probably get 10 days out of it. If you have a solar cell, you could probably get a 10-watt solar cell and power all 3 comfortably, and they'll never run out of power. So
be really great to get just a write-up or a spec of, hey, if you want to use this outside in the real world, buy A, B, C, D, and E, and here's some links to pick them up on Amazon, just so that people are getting the right stuff. I'm perfectly happy. I have a desk of things I bought trying to discover this, but if that's something we can point it at either someplace in review or someplace in Revector, that'd be helpful to...
If you could do a real swarm, a real bee, I not me messing around in the backyard, but like a professional, that would be spectacular. Like, I think we can get, and if you include the 60 gigahertz radar, if we get 3 of them, I think we can do every bee in the colony, which would be probably hundreds of thousands.
Wow. Okay. So I'd love to get more of a sense on how to do that. We'll talk after, but that'd be a great thing to be able to showcase.
Yeah. So step one, and this is really important, and I see this a lot, is trying to visualize the data before you have the data, and then realizing that your visualization doesn't match the data that you're collecting. So when you're doing this work, whether it's setting up a breathing apparatus or security systems or whatever it is, start with the data. And analyze the data. So the first question is, how many people are in the room? How many bees are in the bee's nest? Or be in the colony or whatever, and starting with just a text output that allows you to make a sort of conjecture of sorts that you can understand. Once you've got a baseline of understanding, you as the implementer of the system can, my heartbeat it matches, my watch. That's a baseline. Then you're able to say, okay, how do I want to visualize that heartbeat, right? And when you start the other way, almost always the people are kind of vibing themselves into a corner. So just make sure, yeah, make sure you start with a baseline that you can decipher.
Thank you.
Manjweep, I'm excited to see your what you're building.
Yeah, first I'll just share an update of the meetup we had yesterday in London. So I will just share with you a few pictures and a brief summary of what it was all about. So this is us basically yesterday. We had a room full. I was a bit like thought like, will this be a room? So this was in London Business School. So we had obviously Adam with us there as well from Seattle, and a lot of us there, and yeah, his better half here, Clara, and yeah, we had a good time. We discussed a number of things, and those things included. Benz, are you here as well? If you're here, feel free to chip in as well, Benz. We discussed a number of things. This is what we discussed. We discussed effectively our topic was on enterprise adoption, primarily the reality in enterprises with obviously ChatGPT, and basically what is basically change management and the time it takes to do anything in Europe from our experiences, and some examples. We talked a little bit about the cost of tokens, obviously increasing, and what is sustainable, what is not. I think we had a lot of inputs from Chris. Chris has been working on atomic workflow product called Nucleus. He shared the latest of that with us. Chris, if you are here, probably. Okay, no, okay. So we talked about that. Discussions were more about deterministic AI workflows and governance that goes along with that. We also looked at the latest and greatest in the city, which is Vincent's open clause city, and the spelling is wrong here, so I'll have to correct that later on. We talked about the security aspects. So Mark shared his intents about the next 30, 60, 90 days, though we have to start the work on it. We talked about supply chain attack. I mean, I think obviously we discussed that yesterday as well, right? You shared with us a lot of stuff around that. We also talked about, obviously, some of the discussions that Rocky has been into and Mark has been into within the government space around the whole UBI debate and what it means. There is a bit of an echo, I think. Okay, that's gone. And a few other things. So I think Rocky shared some very interesting views around the physical economy for the future, like SaaS versus physical SaaS. I think I would let him talk us through at a later time, but he had some very interesting insights about reusability or sustainability around the manufacturing industry, so physical digital bridge. So yes, so a few takeaways where, as you see, more focus on deterministic systems. How do we plan for security, and a few other questions. So this was the summary. Benz, if you're there, please feel free to add if I miss anything. Okay. If not, I have something very simple I've been working on. The intent, the motivation for that was my desire to learn a language. So obviously although from India, I don't know Sanskrit. which is still the basis of most of Indian languages. So I've always wanted to learn, but it's very difficult, obviously, to learn it if you have not learned it. So I said I also like music. So my intent was, what do we do? What can we do? And I've seen a lot of songs, Sanskrit kind of text being rendered into rock songs. So it's like, okay, that music sounds good. What can I do about it, and how can I learn? So I'll take 2 minutes to probably just show you. For some reason, my screen is playing up. So if you bear with me for 15 seconds, I will make sure that I'm loading up the right screen. Yes, there it is. So this was what I have been working through. The idea was, okay, it doesn't recognize it. Okay, the idea was that we have you can take a song from YouTube and then obviously build a system that persists in terms of curating the songs and transcribing it and then capturing the meanings of the words into a knowledge graph. And then there is a learning system like Duolingo where you could actually, revise and build the vocabulary of the setup. So this is what it looks like. Again, obviously I've been manually curating a number of songs, for example, like let's say, I'm going to just take something which is, it's a metal, right? It's a metal song. And what you would have is a song, I don't know if you can hear it, but you would have the song play out, and then you have this, this has been pre-processed, so I'm not done it entirely real time, but the meanings and the concepts stuff of yoga in the song, what does it mean about mind, existence, beings, and individual ability to go into click through the meanings of songs, and all it does later on, it can leave comments, the usual stuff, but also it captures it into a knowledge graph, which basically, if you look about battles, weapons, and heroism, what does it mean, and so on and so forth, an ability to learn, which is effectively you can tap and learn as you would go for, you can have matching stuff. So again, that's all. I mean, it's still work in progress. I'm trying to create a roadmap in public to say, okay, what people want to build, me to build next. So that is what I have been up to. So let me just pause here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Manju, looks amazing. Your comment about having a roadmap in public is I think the best approach. Like if all the things that I've built recently, I think the one takeaway is the ability to have direct sort of feedback loop from others using the tools that I build. Yeah, it's finding the like-minded. This is really cool.
Yeah, and I think this is just,
that open?
I have made it open at the moment, yes.
That's awesome. Can you so could you do Jingle Bells or Silent Night and put it in there, and then I can learn Sanskrit because I know Silent Night, and is that how it works?
No, currently I have only limited it to recognize Sanskrit, basically lyrics. So I think you've got a great point, because this could even go to Latin, for example. It could go, because it's about we talked about yoga, right? That's where it started, the concepts. For example, the Matrix trilogy, right? The last song in Matrix trilogy is from the Rig Veda. It's about, it's a bit, so it's a concept of, like we talked about crystals today, like I'll wear some crystals here. My parents made me wear them. But the thing is that there is knowledge probably, which is like, our limits of science haven't allowed us to learn. And I think we're rediscovering many from our classics, whether it's Latin, all of the stuff, that this could be easily replicated to other classical setups. And like, I think Ruv, you did some work about how LLMs react to different languages. We talked about that yesterday, by the way. Like
Sanskrit.
Yeah.
So Sanskrit was particularly well suited for because I think someone pointed out, is mathematical. And structural, and it encodes a significant amount of information in a tighter sort of component, right? Each, lack of a better term, symbol has more bang for its buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting language structure. The other, remember the best one was traditional sort of Chinese characters. They give me the most by far. That was interesting. But I think nothing against the Chinese language, but the Sanskrit is a beautiful sort of just script. It's very pretty.
I'll put the link on the chat. So yeah, we'll welcome feed. I mean, again, Matt, give it a go if you have an idea. Just fork the code base.
Thank you.
And see what you want to do.
Perfect.
I see a guy. You posted something here. The 4 enterprise mandates of edge sovereign intelligence. You got my attention with this. What are we looking at? Put them on the
I was
spot,
kind
maybe.
of working on a paper and what are the key problems that we have to tackle to make AI work in the enterprise. And these are kind of the 4 I came down to. So trust, I think the problem is LLMs are inherently fungible, i.e. exchangeable, stateless, and can't distinguish instruction from data. That is the core security and trust issue of AI. Is it, if I could do prompt injection of text anywhere and change its personality, it's hard to trust it. And it has no entityness, right? I can't like go back and be sure that it's going to behave the same way the next time I interact with it. So I think that's a big challenge. You really have to treat LLMs as untrusted entities and sandbox them and have some deterministic orchestrator around them, which is really Flow, Claude Code, et cetera, is doing additional checks. Knowing my business, I think that one of the big things that we're seeing happen in the industry is now we've kind of reached the limits of very static AI models that are only updated every 6 months. And you're starting to see a lot of vendors go through and add dynamic learning. And that is a problem for businesses, right? So if I have an AI model that I use and it dynamically learns from my usage, it's going to be collecting proprietary data. That's one problem. The other problem is the models know nothing about my business. So if I don't have a good memory infrastructure with ELM, M0, Revector, whatever, code graph, I have no way for the AI to make good decisions based on my business. Predictable cost is becoming a really big one for us. So, all of the foundation vendors are basically still losing money. They haven't made a transition to non-subsidies, right? And they're not working on a margin that they can grow off of, right? So it makes it unpredictable on token burn, and it's definitely creating like a baseline load, right? And that load doubles if I really have good agentic engineers. They're running 2 to 8 simultaneous sessions at a time. That's 2 to 8 times the token cost, right? So it's going to be a big deal to manage costs as the pricing goes up, and we're already seeing that with all the vendors. And then provable ROI. So that's always a challenge I get from businesses, at least the businesses I work with. And I'll say that coding is probably the easiest place to get a 10x, 100x return, right? It's really hard to give AI to a marketing guy and have them 10x, 100x sales. But I can easily give AI to a coding person and have them 10x, 100x their output. And so it's the easy kind of win, right, for provable ROI. And for us, what we've been doing lately is counting merges weighted by the number of files that get modified and looking at the rate of that versus pre-AI, post-AI, and as people mature their skills. So these, for my company, these are kind of the big challenges we have going on. That makes sense to anyone.
These are really useful. One of the things that I did recently, or we did collectively recently, was a marketing optimization of the Cognitive site to try to better convert the crazy amount of traffic it was getting. And what was interesting, so I basically created a loop and said, essentially optimize the site for conversions, right? That's literally all I did, and use the root vector and all that other stuff. And literally, almost overnight, it 4x'd. Now, 4x is crazy, right? That's not 10x, but it was a noticeable improvement almost immediately by doing it. So I think it depends on the recursion and the structure, but I think what you're describing here makes a ton of sense. Yeah, good job. I gotta hop to another call, guys. So it's not gonna be a long, but you're more than welcome to stick around if you want. Last couple minutes. What have I forgotten? Rob, you still there?
Yep.
What's left?
No, I think we got everything covered. There's We got the hackathons ongoing. Yeah, events coming up. Nope. We've got one more
All
week
right.
off to Budapest. So next Friday will be the last show before Hungary, and then we got to figure out how we're going to do the Thursday live and the Friday live out of Budapest. That should be fun.
It'll be evening, I guess, right? What time's it in Budapest? Six in the evening, 7?
That's right.
Yeah.
6 hours difference.
Okay. Yeah. Someone with a phone with some local bandwidth, we'll figure it out, I guess. Do we know where we're going to be on Friday of that week?
No, that's open. Friday's open.
Okay. Well, we need to find a venue, and we'll do the AI Hackerspace live somewhere. It might be live from a park, but it'll be live.
Yeah, that's right.
Make sure it's calm and serene. Don't make us jealous and be in a really nice place and a lot of people laughing and having fun and beer being tough.
Okay.
It sounds like a concert, right? Live from Budapest.
In Budapest.
Yeah, in Budapest. What happens stays in Budapest. Yeah, so same as Vegas.
But in Budapest, it won't be beer; it will be Tokaj. So
there you go.
More wine, yeah.
Okay, I'm not exactly a big drinker, but I will nurse a glass of wine for several hours.
There we go.
Yeah, Roof, just 1 second. I'll get in touch with you over WhatsApp because we were to talk a little about, and I wanted to pick your brain about RVF and Roo Vector Edge and stuff like that. So if I'll send you a ping over WhatsApp, okay?
Yep, appreciate that. And I know sometimes I'm really hard to get a hold of, and I apologize. I'm just overwhelmed a little bit. Chris is on this call. He's sort of the co-founder of Cognitum and our CEO. If you really want to try to get in touch, he's your guy. He'll figure it out and get you in the calendar.
Is he in the WhatsApp group as well? Because I have to be able to reach him.
You can add me.
Okay, how do I add you? That's a challenge in itself.
You can add me. I need one more WhatsApp group.
We got lots of those for you, Chris. Lots of those. You're only scratching the surface of our WhatsApp. Constellation.
Just begun.
All right, I'm late for my next call. I gotta go. Again, stick around if you want. Okay, see you next week.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to put my phone number in here real quick so you guys have it. You can add it.
Are we then finishing the meeting? Who is still the host? Nick, are you still here?
I think the ball was passed to me, but I'm gonna hop off this in a moment.
Yep.
It was a nice meet.
Oh yeah.
I added my phone number in there if you guys need to get a hold of me or if you want to add me onto the WhatsApp. So, and then my email is real simple. Press it. Cognitum.1. So thank you.
That's a US number. That's a
yeah, it's +1. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Pleasure meeting all of you. Have a wonderful
same
weekend.
here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Is anyone still on?
David, you still there? I'll ping you on LinkedIn.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I was gonna follow up so we could reconnect.
Okay, perfect. That works.
Cool.
Yeah.
Chat there.
See you later. See you later, Mario.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye.
Very nice.
Mm.